Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar on DEWETRON's newest update for Oxygen 7.3. Thank you so much for taking the time to join today. I'm Gabriella Scott, the marketing specialist here at DEWETRON Inc., and I'm joined by Christophe Langell, who is our support engineer. How are you, Christophe?
Doing good. Happy to be here.
Good. Quickly before we get started, we'd like to take the time to see what version of Oxygen you're currently using. So if you wouldn't mind, please take part in this poll. We'll give you just a few seconds to do so. Okay, thank you for participating. There are a few quick things that I'd like to mention. First, we would love to hear your feedback, so please feel free to stay until the end of the webinar to take part in our quick survey. Also, make sure to follow us on our social media accounts, which you can access through this QR code right here and at the end of the presentation as well. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please drop them in the chat and we'll answer those for you at the end of the presentation. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So we have a bunch of exciting new features that come with our Oxygen 7.3 release. Christophe, could you tell us a little bit more about what to expect from this update?
Yeah, so with the release of 7.3, a lot of new features have been added. In this webinar today, we'll be going over Modal Shape Animation, power extensions. We've added a color trail to the GPS plot. We'll go over overall average FFTs, which have been implemented, percentile calculation, new Skippy commands, as well as EtherCAT extensions, and a couple other miscellaneous additions. Heading right into it, up first, we have Modal Shape Animation. With this, you'll have the possibility to animate the modal shape based on the modal test measurement results. And the new modal test instrument for visualization has also been added to the screen template. The key features of this new tool, the selection of the excitation point for data visualization has been set. If you select auto, the first excitation point will be used. You'll also be able to use the manual frequency specification or selection from the spectrum analyzer, as well as viewed continuous deflection animation or showing max deflection, and setting of the animation speed and or scale. You'll be able to use this tool in pretty much any mode in Oxygen, so live, record, and play mode. I've gone ahead and set up a little demonstration for you guys. So over here, you can see the modal animation of the shape we've made, and we have our excitation point right over here that we can select, as well as view the deflection and set the animation speed as well as the amplitude scale. To use this new feature, it will require an additional license feature, which you'll be able to see right over here.
Very interesting, thank you. Next in line, we have power extensions. Could you please tell us a little bit more about this specific feature?
Yeah, with the addition of the power extensions, it's going to make it easier to do efficiency calculation for externally excited synchronous machines. The new excitation section will be in the efficiency tab to specify excitation voltage and current, and the output channels will be synced to the fundamental frequency. These will affect your mechanical and system efficiency. What this looks like is if we go over to our power group, I've already had one made for ease of use. So once we open up the power group, we'll go over to our settings menu, and under the efficiency tab, you'll notice that there's a new drop down, the machine excitation. Once enabled, you can drag and drop your voltage excitation as well as your current excitation, and this will create the machine excitation drop down in the power group, and you'll be able to see your channel values right over here. However, to use this new feature, it will require another license option, Power Advanced or Power Expert.
Okay, great, thank you. Next, we will show you the new feature added when using the GPS plot. Could you please give us a closer look?
Yeah, so we've added the color trail to the GPS plot. This can change its color depending on the specific channel amplitude. For example, you can change the color depending on velocity, height, or other additional channels that can be added. The fourth channel assigned to the GPS plot will automatically define the color trail. So as you can see right over here, channel 1 and channel 2 will have latitude and longitude. Once populated, your map should be displayed. And then you can go ahead channel 3 for your heading. And I've gone and had another demonstration for you guys. So over here, we have a car in motion going from point A to point B. And as you can see here, they have their measurement based on their speed. So as the speed increases and heads towards its maximum range, the color trail will turn red. And as the car slows down and heads towards the minimum, it can and will turn green. You can go ahead and change the colors, set the ratings yourself. But this is just a nice little feature that we've also added for you guys to use. You can and will be able to set up the color as well as the upper and lower limit as defined in the instrument properties, which I had just shown.
Very cool. That's a great feature. Now that we've covered that, let's take a look at the new features for FFTs.
Yeah, so getting into it, we have the overall average FFT. With this, you'll be able to determine an energetically averaged FFT from measurement start to measurement end. And this will be applicable for math FFTs and can be enabled and output as a new channel in the FFT complex channel settings. The amplitude scaling is the same as for the FFT amplitude channel, and it will reset on measurement start. However, data will be continuously updated during recording, but only the last valid spectrum will be stored to a DMD. What this looks like is right over here, I have a simulated signal of an FFT. And if I wanted to get the average, I would come over to my channel list and go to the simulated signal setup. And in the FFT output channels, we can enable overall average channel. That will create our channel that we can then put into the instrument. And once added, I'll be able to view my live signal as well as the averaged FFT. Continuing on, we also have the ability to calculate the FFT of a signal between points A and B of the cursors. However, to view this, you will need one recorder or chart recorder and one spectrum analyzer, both on the same screen. And the recorder's time axis link mode must be set to the instrument and page. And you have to link the recorder cursors to the spectrum analyzer in instrument properties. When both of these are done, the recorder is activated and the spectrum analyzer will show the FFT of the signal part between the cursors. And this can be used in multiple ways. So if we're in live, we'll just freeze our measurement screen. While recording, we'll just head into deja vu mode. And in play mode, you can view it as is. The channels in the recorder and the spectrum analyzer can be different. So what this looks like is, for demonstration, we have our recorder up top and our spectrum analyzer on the bottom. If we head over to the instrument properties, the link mode for the recorder is going to be set to instruments on page. And the spectrum analyzer, we're going to link to recorder cursors. So once that's been done, we can go ahead and freeze since we're in live mode and go ahead and enable our cursors for the recorder. And as you can see from in between points A and B, we'll be able to view the FFT between these.
Okay, great. Backtracking really quickly, we did get a question. It is, what is the input for the GPS plot?
Yeah, so for the GPS plot, you're going to need latitude for channel 1, longitude for channel 2, a header, and then for the GPS plot, it's going to be a fourth channel, so you can have velocity, elevation, pretty much whatever you're trying to measure and wanting to see a change over time.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, going forward, so the next feature looks like it'll be a calculated channel. Why don't you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so we've added the percentile calculation for in Oxygen 7.3. This will give you the possibility to calculate the threshold of a channel exceeding a certain percentage. And the percentage levels can be freely defined, so it's totally up to you. And this will be applicable to synchronous and asynchronous time domain channels and arrays. So if you're working with signals as harmonics. So what this looks like is, again, we'll go over to our channel list. And since this is a calculated channel, we will be adding a new channel right here at the bottom. And under advanced math, you'll see the percentile measurement. And this is where you can go and set your thresholds. So I'll do 10 and 95. Once added, our calculated channel does get populated at the top. And in this dropdown, we'll be able to see the 10th and 95th percentile for our created channels, which we can then add to the measurement screen to view.
Okay, great. Thank you. It looks like we have some new Skippy commands within this update. What's going on here?
Yeah, so with new features comes new Skippy commands as usual. This go around, this batch of Skippy commands will give you the possibility to configure the channels to be enabled for auto export. So you'll be able to activate or deactivate the auto export in directory specification already supported in previous versions. Below is the syntax of this go around for this new Skippy commands. I won't go into greater detail, but for more details and exact syntax, you can refer to the Skippy technical reference manual.
Okay, great. So what's the next thing on the agenda?
Next thing on the agenda, we have EtherCAT extensions. With this, the measurement range and unit information of transfer channels will be saved in ESI file as a comment. The information can be read out by the EtherCAT host. As beforehand, only the values have been transferred without range and unit information. This can be passed through the Beckhoff EtherCAT configuration tool for ENI file generation.
Okay, thank you. And last but not least, we have some miscellaneous features added. Can you tell us about these?
Yep. So the way I see it, miscellaneous stuff has come to mean we're going to make your life easier in the software, which is always a plus for me. This go around, we have the option to hide fundamental values in the power instrument, as well as create multiple formulas at once. And we also have the option to change the physical units in multiples to and by 1000. So for example, when working with a voltage signal, you can set the sensitivity for millivolts, volts, kilovolts, or megavolts. And this can be used to enter sensitivity for sensors when it's specified. This will be applicable for voltages, currents, and resistance. So what this looks like is we have our power group right over here. And if we wanted to, if we go to the instrument properties, we can enable or disable show fundamental channels, and it'll do just that. For the formulas, again, we'll come back to our channel list and take in our signal right over here. And once we go to formula, we'll be able to determine how many channels we want to select. And if you hit add, as you can see, it's added about 5 formulas, and this can cut down the time of creating them if you're already working with multiple formulas using the same channel. For the sensitivity, again, we'll go back into a signal. We'll choose this channel, and once we go to sensitivity over here, you can select your unit of measurement from volts, millivolts, kilovolts, or megavolts for ease of use.
Okay, great. Thank you. So what can we expect from future updates?
So even though 7.3 has come out already, we're always looking ahead. So for 7.4, some of the key features that we'll be looking forward to is there's a lot of work in progress for the oxygen net improvements. We're looking to be able to support multiple oxygen net masters, and they as well as allow data transfer to and from multiple masters, measurement node configuration from multiple masters, and creation of recording groups to realize different recording events on different masters, as well as support of multiple LAN ports for redundant network architectures. With that being said, that will conclude today's webinar. Hope you guys found it very informative and look forward to hearing your stories about how the features have been used in your testing.
And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them now and we can follow up with you after the webinar. As mentioned before, there will be a survey, so be sure to stick around to take part in that. You can also follow us on our socials using the QR code below. And feel free to download today's presentation after taking the survey. But thanks again for joining today's webinar. We hope you found it useful and hope you have a good rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.